Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first of our new videos, all about predictions. And tonight we are going to be talking about the one and only Saturday night's main event, which is coming out this Saturday. And if you don't know how to watch that in the UK, it's easy. You watch it the same way you're watching us right now. You watch it on YouTube. Maybe we should put the link in that. We'll have a think.
No idea.
I'm Dirty Dave, and I've had to do the intro because I'm old and I remember the original Saturday night's main event, which, there you go, 1985. Back in the heyday, as I was trying to explain to our lovely colleagues, Andy and Fraz, that back in the day, we only used to have one pay-per-view a year. It was WrestleMania. So what did we used to do to keep people interested? Well, once a month, NBC, instead of doing Saturday Night Live, they'd give you Saturday night's main event. 4 matches taped in an hour, and the idea was each one of those matches could be the main event. As a matter of fact, quite a lot of the time, Hulk Hogan, the champion at the time, wasn't in the main event on main event. It'd actually be on first or second, just so you knew each match could be a main event. And that's what brings us to our predictions this week. It's this week's Saturday night's main event. And I, for one, think all 4 of the matches on this card could be the main event. What about you boys? What do you think?
Sorry to say I wasn't listening there, but yeah.
Sorry,
Dave. No, it's just a private joke, guys.
It was an excellent intro, David. Very good.
Beautifully done. Sir.
I will just. I'm going to say, Dave. I'll say that I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening at all because Tottenham have won the Europa League. And they have finally won a trophy. So for all my friends out there that support Manchester United or Arsenal, in the words of the famous Lucas Lever, Alagi.
And in the words of the famous Billy Gunn, we got 2 words for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
champions.
Pigs fly. Dave does an intro. That's never going to happen again. And won a trophy, and that's never going to happen again. So make the most of this, people. Make the most of this.
Right, gentlemen, I am going to share with you the 4 matches. Yes, 4 matches from Saturday night main event. It's me, Lord AlFraz Hayes, here at the Royal Albert Hall, and we have a fantastic card to bring you this Saturday, which will be the 24th of May. Yes, I have Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a steel cage match. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's a really good impression.
Spot on.
Thank you.
I couldn't tell if it was actually the Lord himself or you, to be fair.
You may call me Lord Fraz from now on. Or Lord Farid.
Lord AlFraz Fraz.
Yeah, Lord AlFraz Fraz. Yeah.
Lord AlFraz Hayes.
Lord AlFraz Hayes. We digress, gentlemen. What a barnstormer. If this is the correct order of play come Saturday,
who knows?
We have the long-standing feud between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which, as I alluded to on our recap show, I would quite like to end. However, it's going to be a good match, right?
It's got to be, isn't it? I mean, their WrestleMania match was a barnstormer. This is going to burn the house down. I mean, even before the other 3 matches kick off, and we'll be performing out in the open air. No, I think this is going to be a killer.
I think it's interesting that their WrestleMania match is the complete opposite, or this match will be the complete opposite. Their WrestleMania match, no holds barred, could go anywhere, street fight. They went outside. That they had room to maneuver. Look at what happened at Backlash. They go off into the crowd, choke slamming people through tables and off stages. What we're now going to do is confine them to the ring and confine them to the cage. I don't know. Is the cage going to be able to hold them? Is something going to happen? Will there be some technical malfunction and the cage breaks? Is someone going to interfere? I don't know. I think these guys have done so much outside of the ring. It'd be interesting to see what they do confined into the cage. And I can't see this being the final match. We might come back to it later on, later on in the year, but I don't see this as the blowout. The days are gone when the steel cage match was the blowout match. I don't think this one's it, but I'm very interested to see how this works.
The only one thing I think in this match is Drew is obviously the heel here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Even
I
though
he's not very heelish. He's a cool heel. I just don't like seeing badass heels like Drew McIntyre escape from the cage.
That's a chicken shit
You know what
move.
I mean? It's a chicken shit move.
Exactly why. That's exactly why my prediction for this is that Damian Priest wins this match, because that gives so many the cage, with the steel cage match not being a blowout anymore, it gives so many outs. You could have your shoelaces tied up to the cage and you can't get out. You can there's all sorts of things you could do where you manage to just steal a win, and I think Priest will steal a win here, and that will make this feud 1-1, and then we need to go all out, possibly Hell in a Cell later on in the year. But I'm going Priest, and I think unless the cage breaks or there's some sort of malfunction, I think he'll climb out.
Oh, Andy.
He will escape the cage. I think it's going to be Priest. I think it's going to be a pinfall victory for Priest. I think he's going to hit some ridiculous move off the top of the cage, because I think the visual, I don't think Priest is afraid of jumping off of high things. I think Drew is big enough and cuddly enough to catch him and make it safe, and I think he'll do something ridiculous, like maybe not a moonsault, maybe like a senton or something just crazy, a crossbody, and he'll just take Drew out and win by pinfall. I think it's enough to keep Drew down, especially if they beat the snot out of each other in the match itself.
I've made a terrible mistake. I think something like that is quite right, Andy. And do you know what? I've just thought of the Triple H Austin finish in the cage where they both hit each other with like a weapon, and then they just like Triple H manages to just fall luckily on top of Austin and pins him without even knowing. That's probably what's going to happen. Drew, they'll smash each other with something, and the Priest will get lucky and just land on him. But I'm not going to change my prediction. That's my secondary prediction.
I think we know what Fraz's prediction is going to be now, though.
Giving it to him on a plate.
Well, maybe he's going to go for Drew.
I'm going to go for Drew McIntyre. Yeah. And I'm going to go via pinfall. And that's about the extent of my prediction. I just think that they have bigger plans for Mr. McIntyre.
I agree.
I think he's going to win, and I think that he will go on to possibly challenge for a title. Cena or get in the Money in the Bank somehow.
Well, yes.
If he wins via pinfall, does that not leave Gaytaker a bit sort of like on the downslope? Like, if you know what I mean? Like, it sort of leaves him in a position where he's not going to be looking as strong.
But again, unless you do something similar to what I've just sort of said, in terms of you just sort of fall on, you know, I mean, like an example of someone who loses a lot but that doesn't damage them would be Chris Jericho. So being creative about how you lose is so much more important than the black and white picture. So you read where it says via pinfall and you think, oh God, really? What? But that, you know, the words are only 10% of what we're talking about, aren't they? And I think there's ways you could do it. But I agree, you know, a squash, or, you know, I'd be surprised if it's clean.
Yeah, I wouldn't clean it.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely.
I will just say, will it be a great shame if Damian Priest loses? No. Will it be a great shame if he goes on a downfall? No, not at all. I mean, he's either going to wrestle Fandango or Tyler Breeze, or he's just going to go off and start a cooking channel like Baron Corbin. I mean, either one of those options I'm happy with, as long as Drew wins. and we end this god-awful feud that's gone on far too long.
It's
with
not a
someone who's-
god-awful feud. It's
Damian Priest
far
is
better.
fucking overrated.
Every
Yeah,
time.
he's dog shit. It's all about Drew. He needs to
It's-
win a title.
It's
I
over.
will move on. I will move on. I am going to veto anything. In fact, it's me back here, Lord AlFraz Hayes, and I'm going to move on to the next matchup where we have the never seen 17, the greatest of all time, the real champion, or the real last champion, Jonathan Seaman, Gagan Aaron Trufen. Gentlemen, I will just add that this is a non-title match. Thoughts, Sir Andrew Godwin?
I didn't know it's non-title. Is it really?
Well, you're not.
This
Who was
is
Truth
a
beaten?
non-title match.
Has Truth won a match since he had the 24/7 title? It's Cena. It's a squash. It's going to be an opportunity for them to gain massive heat on John, have him beat the snot out of Truth, and
that was for the title, but I'm shocked now.
no,
I shall give you my prediction. It is Mr. Truth with a surprise roll-up victory via the pin of falls.
But then I shall go another route. Then I think it's going to be R-Truth via DQ because Cena's going to beat him too much. I think they're going to give Truth the victory because Cena smashes him up too much to prove a point. And then I think someone may come out afterwards to help Truth out. I don't know who, but I think it'll be someone else from Cena's past.
I think R-Truth is going to win. I think R-Truth's going to win. And I'm caught between. I have to say, I'm caught between both options because I think it's a surprise roll-up, but due to a distraction of outside interference of some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so surprise
or surprise pin doesn't necessarily have to be a roll-up. I mean, let's face it, him winning would be a surprise pin anyway. So that's it. But there'll be some sort of distraction. Yeah, could be Jesse Ventura as the guest referee. Because he ain't got time for our truth.
Maybe it could be Karrion Kross coming out as Jesse Ventura.
Oh my god. If they have a Jesse Ventura off, that would be great. They just both get in the ring and pretend to be Jesse Ventura for half an hour, talking to each other until they give up the gimmick. That'd be brilliant.
Jizzy Ventura, did you say? Or?
Jizzy Ventura.
I mean, not at his age now, I wouldn't have thought, but I mean, I'm not gonna try and find out.
Let's not speculate, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we move on to the next matchup of the evening, of the night of Saturday's main events? And yes, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes are not deceiving you. David has changed his background. Could you please move your head from one side to the other? Oh, it is an old school logo of these Saturdays.
It was only used twice in 1992.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we have the Punk of CMs and Sami the Syrian Zayn versus Seth, the greatest of all time, in Farad's opinion, Rollins, and Bron Breakker. David, I would like you to go first. Andrew, I apologise. However, you had the first pick in the last match, and I would like David to henceforth decide who and how this team will gain victory over the other.
Okay, thank you, Farid. Obviously, I'm very pleased with your interest of fairness there and allowing me to go first. Shocking as it was, I think, for what it's worth, that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are going to win because I think Sami Zayn is going to turn on CM Punk, but not join Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
And this shall be via pinfall or a submission or a
Pinfall. And it will be probably Seth Rollins pinning him.
right there. Oh, punt. CM Punk.
So I'm terribly sorry if that takes anyone else's suggestion away. But yeah, I can't see Sami Zayn being the third man, but
And Josh Townsend, I know you are thoroughly engaged in this prediction show as you seem to be either staring at your phallus or playing with your mobile telecommunication device.
Definitely.
If you could please join the party and discuss your pick and method of victory.
I think it's going to be Seth and Braun. And I think it's because we're going to get a new member come out, and Seth will distract the referee while new member beats the shit out of the other two with Braun, and then yeah, I don't know who the new member might be. Part of me would like it to be, well, I'll be honest with you, part of me would like it to be Kevin Owens, because I think that would be funny as fuck if it's just randomly Kevin Owens, just because. But
he hasn't had surgery yet.
I thought he had.
No, did an interview last week. He still hasn't had it.
Oh.
Apparently, it's really, really complex.
Well, I guess it won't be him then.
Well,
but it would be nice if it was someone.
It
would be nice if it was someone who perhaps hasn't been on the show, or another new signing, or someone from NXT, or something interesting would be nice. I think we're all done. Maybe Bronson Reed would be a cool, nice little return for him if he's ready to come back after his ankle injuries. But yeah, I think it'll be Seth and Braun. I would like it to be Punk, actually, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'd like Punk to turn heel on Sammy. I thought there was a little bit of a groove to that on Raw. There was a slight look in Punk's eye, and the way he went only after Braun and not Seth.
Yeah, there's definitely something brewing between those two. It's interesting, a reverse version. I like it.
Yeah, I think Punk being the Batista, being the sort of Ric Flair in the whole situation would be quite funny. But hey, we can dream.
Well, that leaves Lord Alfred Farid to...
I have thought about this long and hard, gentlemen. And when I say hard, I mean very hard. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker to gain victory due to interference from a certain gentleman named Senior Paul Heyman.
I thought you were going to say Gran Americano.
No, I believe that guy is Doctor.
Chad Gable.
I am very bored with the Senior Americano, El Grande, and Penta feud. Something different needs to happen.
No.
Maybe you should have covered that in our Raw recap, big man.
Well, because you gentlemen were too busy talking about female wrestling, I had no time to express my feelings on the matter. However, once the predictions are done, I will happily explain to you why I believe this should end. Going on to the World Heavyweight Champion, the Uso of J versus Logan Paul, the YouTuber. 4 words, 4 letters for 1 word. I am so not hip, gentlemen. Yite. I believe Jay of the Uso shall gain victory in this matchup via straight up super kick. Much better than HBK's.
Wow. I thought we were done with the stupid takes after my Bret Hart situation.
No, absolutely not. This is all about getting views, and
This
I
is
believe
why-
this will be a fantastic short to go out there for our fan base of 28 subscribers. Now, Andros Townsend, would you like to pick your victor in this illustrious main event battle?
I mean, it's Jay. I don't think he's gonna win by pinfall, though. I think it might be another sub. I think he might use the sleeper again to really dig it. I think Gunther will come out and then Jay will super kick Logan and then stick him back in the sleeper to really sort of twist the knife in on Gunther a bit.
Interesting.
Oh, that's what I'd like to see.
I'd like to see Logan Paul win. However, I haven't seen any pigs fly recently.
Well, fortunately, that happened at the beginning of the show when Tottenham won, and I did an intro. So I will give you a pig flying to end the show, and that is Logan Paul's going to win because Jey Uso is going to hit him with the brass knucks and get disqualified. So I think Logan Paul will get his brass knucks out because he'll try everything and he won't be able to beat Jey Uso. He'll just keep kicking out. He'll get the brass knuckles out. I think Gunther will come out. There'll be some sort of moderate interference. Somehow, the brass knucks end up in Jey Uso's hand. Whacks Logan Paul, Paul Logan, but the ref sees it, and it's a DQ. And then Logan Paul can play on this for months about how he deserves a rematch and all this kind of stuff, and that's how he wins the title later in the year.
There you have it, gentlemen.
That's the pig, people. Agree, disagree, tell us what you think. You know what to do. Comment, subscribe, share.
Very interesting indeed. I'm just going to stop sharing the screen now. I would like to ask you, gentlemen, a number of questions relating to the Money in the Ladder, PLE, because I do feel the viewers respect your opinions, and we must find out who will be the victor in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Andrew Godwin, one name, please, go.
Fuck, I can't give you one name.
I will just...
Drew
McIntyre. Rhetoric here. We have no idea who is going to be in the match. So you could say the legend that is Bob Backlund, if you wanted.
Jesse Ventura.
Drew McIntyre. David?
It's far too early, but I'll say Braun Breaker.
Really?
I think
that's
after watching Raw, Rollins is obviously obsessed with winning the title, and he's playing all the cards he possibly can to get himself in a title match. I don't think he needs to be champ at the moment. I think he needs to build the group a little bit more. But I think Braun might win it, and then it causes just a little bit of subtle tension, like Batista winning the Royal Rumble did in Evolution. I'm not saying they're going to break up, but and Rollins might even end up taking Braun's Money in the Bank because he's the master manipulator with Paul Heyman, and it's the better thing for the overall team. I don't know. There's some room to play with that one, but bear in mind I have no idea who's in the match. I think Braun Breaker winning could be awesome. I love Drew. I don't need an over main eventer to win this one. The Money in the Bank for me is a bit like the King of the Ring. I don't generally like it when it's someone already established, with the exception of Bret Hart, just to annoy Andy. So yeah, I'm going to go Braun Breaker.
I think Solo Sikoa.
Interesting.
I think a rehash of the last 2 years is upon us. Solo will win. and that will probably bring Roman out of hiatus. He will challenge his brother, Jey Uso. And I think the whole Bloodline 3.0 will kick off. That is my take. And females, I think, is Roxanne Perez. I think you can't argue with that. It's either her or Rhea, but Roxanne for shits and giggles. Her against Io Sky. Get Julia involved. Well, she's on SmackDown now, actually, isn't she?
And they broke up last week, yeah.
Yeah. So Roxanne, she'll cash in on, or maybe she'll cash in on Tiffy, actually, and then it'll be Roxanne versus Julia.
Maybe, yeah.
It'll be a slow burn if they do, because obviously they've only just introduced Roxy as part of Judgment Day. So that'll be like one she holds a long time if she was to cash on.
Yeah, maybe. Because then you've got several stories there, because you've got the Roxanne and Liv when Liv comes back. It's another thing I want to say on the recap thing. I think that's very interesting. I think it's people might be bored of Judgment Day, but it just gets better and better each week.
So
like, you know, Liv still to come back. If Roxanne joins, you've got Finn trying to screw over Dom. Maybe Roxanne and Dom get together. Then you've got who's going to side with who. Liv and Finn might get together. It's crazy.
It's like
EastEnders.
It's like EastEnders, yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like EastEnders. You know,
I'm not sure who's going to win the women's ladder match, but I think Becky Lynch is going to get screwed over by Bayley, and then whoever's capable of climbing the ladder to capture. I think you're probably right. I think Perez is probably the winner, but I think I can or Valkyrie. I think they're going to be up on the ladder. Becky's going to be in a better position. Bayley will cost her, and whoever's on the top of the ladder with Becky.
But Bayley's out, isn't she?
Is she out?
No. Becky's out, isn't she? She lost. She lost in the qualifier. They might do a lucky losers thing, but I think Becky's destiny lies with Lyra and Bayley in a triple threat.
Yeah, which is what
Money in the Bank.
Which is what I'm saying. So, some way, shape, or form, Becky's going to be involved in that match. Whether she costs Lyra, and then Bayley comes out, there'll be something. But yeah, there will be something to that match. That will be a messy finish, and that will set off on the way to SummerSlam for those three women.
Andrew, quick.
I mean, I expect Rhea to win. I'd like Rhea to win. I love Rhea. She's like everything. She's the reason I watch Raw. Let's be honest. I watch for the plot, and she is the plot. So there you go.
Interesting. And just quickly, if Jay does beat Logan, and it's Jay and Gunther, is Gunther getting his title back, or is Jay going over?
Jay
loses to Rollins in the long term.
Ladies.
Jay wins. Gunther absolutely snaps. Cue Goldberg.
Interesting take. Yeah.
And like that, I go to sleep.
We don't need to match in the last 30 seconds.
Spirit like me.
Get him in a sleeper. Job done.
Actually, that is a fantastic way to build to SummerSlam, isn't it? Gunther destroys Jay, then goes on this tyrant of, like you said in our previous video with the recaps, where Gunther then goes on this non-wrestling, I'm going to destroy everyone vibe. Goldberg comes out, saves the day. They have a match at SummerSlam. Job done. Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, boom. Big match at SummerSlam, unless my prediction of Solo comes true. He catches in at some point on Jay.
Tune in every week to find out how this story's going to progress.
I shall close out the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you from the Royal Albert Hall. It is myself, Lord AlFraz Hayes, Andros Godwin, and Dirty David. We thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate the support and love that you have given us from your little piggy hearts. Please like, share, subscribe, and join us for another edition of our prediction show here at Holla. If you hear me, is that the right show? It is. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. God bless. And God save the king.